That's right, ladies and gents, we're back in the USSR. Once again, there's still a whole bunch of problems, but we're slowly but surely chewing through them. And you know what? I have some absolutely great news that I've spotted. And you know what that is? Is that the teacher shortage is going to be ending very, very shortly indeed. It's going to be ending on the next turn, which is super, super nice. Not like it really matters. Anyway, it's probably good actually if we take a little bit of a recap right now and talk a little bit about some of the problems and some of the benefits that we currently are experiencing in the country. So, starting with the teacher shortage, it's going to be ending next turn, so we don't really need to worry about it too much. Also in the public services area, we've got this ongoing asthma epidemic, which I do want to try and get rid of, but is proving to be a little bit of a stickler. I think probably the way that we try and reduce it is through heavier car emissions standards, car reductions, you know, subsidizing buses, subsidizing trains, all of that sort of stuff, all of the whole reduction in car usage. Yeah, so if we can try and work that down, that would be great. Obviously, road building is a very, very big modifier for car usage, but we'll have to think about that. Anyway, it's not really that big of a deal. It's just one of these things that rumbles along in the background forever. It hurts productivity a little bit, makes parents like us a little bit less. It's very distinctly it doesn't really matter. What does matter is the horrific amount of corruption that we actually have, and that is leading us to a whole bunch of nasty effects. Trustworthy, which I cannot click on, because if I do, the game will crash, so I'm not going to. It's also decreasing the environment, socialists like us a little bit less, and it also increases foreign subversion. Interestingly enough, foreign subversion is actually on the decrease, primarily due to the fact that we've increased wiretapping and funding to the intelligence services, so that's kind of nice. Also, foreign relations are taking a little bit of a spike, which is quite nice because of foreign aid. So there we go, we've got that to bear in mind. What's next? Civil rights protests? I don't see this ending anytime soon. Not at all. It's primarily caused by the fact that we have a bunch of liberals in the country, and liberalism, like a desire for liberalism, I guess. So there we go. We got a lot of liberals. We got a lot of liberals. I mean, membership is like 100%. 100% of the population. They're all liberals. The entire population is liberal. So we've got to keep that in mind whilst we deal with the civil rights protests. Truthfully, I'm not even bothered about this. Like, it's just something that is just rumbling on in the background once again, and I'm not gonna be too concerned by it. Foreign subversion, as I've already talked about, is on the decrease, which is quite nice. We of course are going to continue to add to the police state vibes that we've got going on over here, and we're going to continue to spend more money on the intelligence services and on wiretapping. I think we bumped up wiretapping. Yeah, we bumped up wiretapping. There is still some more stuff that we need to introduce, but we'll talk a little bit about this in a minute. Let's continue. Egalitarian society, that is not showing any sign of stopping. Everyone likes us just a little bit more, which is quite nice. Uncompetitive economy. Once again, this has been going on since the very start. We've never really been able to get a handle on it, but now I feel that we probably will be able to get a handle on it. I'm really going to try and make a big drive to increase productivity. It really, really is something that I want to try and do. Wages. Why are wages so low? Forced labor bring down wages. Unemployment. Okay, well, fine. Well, you know what? We can deal with this. We can deal with this. I was thinking about perhaps reducing corporation tax, although that's not a very socialist thing to do. I want to try and keep corporation tax in play, even if it is just a little bit. Quite low at the moment, actually, not raising us much money at all. But that's not a problem. That's not a problem whatsoever. But yes, the uncompetitive economy is there. It is hurting our GDP. It is hurting our capitalist relations. That's fine. I want to try and grow the economy through an increase in productivity. We introduced the Workers' Pride campaign. I do not know how much of an impact that's going to have. It will, you know, it will take effect over the next couple of turns, so we'll need to keep that in mind. Perfect. Okay, we need to try and increase productivity. That's going to be one of the main missions in this episode. Sexism is a little bit of an annoying modifier, I guess. Like, I just don't understand why it's even around, to be honest. The homosexuality law. No recognition, discrimination outlawed. Yeah, that is what I want, and that will reduce sexism. But apparently it's still quite high. And apparently okay, I don't understand how unemployment works. Can I bump abortion, perhaps? Maybe that'll make some changes to sexism. But it's not like sexism is really a terrible modifier for us. Like, it's got a little bit of an annoyance, but it doesn't really have that much of an effect. So I'm not really that inclined to deal with it, you know, right now. Pollution rumbles on. The environment is in a pretty darn bad place, but hopefully through some of our transportation changes, through the introduction of electric cars, and also keep the country tidy campaign, hopefully we'll be able to make the environment a little bit better. As I sort of mentioned towards the start with regards to the asthma epidemic, we kind of want to improve the environment slowly but surely, and that way we can get rid of the asthma epidemic, get rid of the pollution that is costing us 1.49 billion rubles per term. So it's quite a lot. Anyway, our surplus is 867 million. It's not a lot. You know, we're treading quite a thin line. We want to continue to push down the debt. We absolutely want to continue to push down the debt. And we also want to achieve the AAA credit rating. It's going to be a little bit difficult to do because we're going to need to raise a little bit more money, but that's not too much of a problem. We can just about deal with that. I do want to sort of tailor our expenditure a little bit because the global economy is going to go very soon. Well, maybe not now, but very soon anyway. It is going to start to tank, and we need to be ready for when it does start to tank. So we need to get our affairs in order before the economy starts to go completely kaput. So with that, I think it's probably nice to go on to the next turn. Let's progress to the next turn with reckless abandon. There's a liberal plot. Okay, let's have a little look. GDP is showing strong growth. That's very, very nice indeed. Presumably that's primarily due to the growth or the slight growth in productivity, I would imagine. Oil price. A lower oil dependence. Could go after lower oil dependence. That would be something to aspire to. Education has finally jumped back up to where it needs to be, which is great. Which hopefully should see a further increase to productivity. Great. So productivity is having a real impact. Budget surplus is 4.56 billion. That's perfect. That's exactly what we're after. I'm really, really happy about that. Report summary, high approval. Great. Well, it looks like we are actually kind of popular. We're getting there. We're getting there. This is the highest in popularity that we've ever been, which I must say is darn remarkable. There's a liberal plot. There's a Battenberg group plot. Everyone is hating us. And let's be real, like, that's justified, right? That's completely justified. Something that I really, really want to get, but I cannot realistically see any way of doing it, is to implement the nationalize the banking system and then nationalize manufacturing. I want to do this. I definitely want to do this. It's going to take a long time to come to fruition, though. Nationalize the banking system, nationalize manufacturing. It's super popular. But unfortunately, it's going to cost us 55 political capital, and that is not political capital that we have, unfortunately. That is not political capital that we have. We need to try and keep these guys on side for now, because without them, we're going to be in trouble. You are generating a heck of a lot of good stuff for us, good vibes. Ideally, we just want the economy to continue to run well. Farmers and parents, well, I want to try and maybe get farmers and parents to be a little bit happier with us. If we can make everyone happy with us, then we will be totally fine. What could we do to make farmers happier with us? We could introduce agriculture subsidies. That would have a knock-on effect, perhaps to increase some of these guys' happinesses. We've got a lot of farmers. We've got a lot of farmers in our cabinet at the moment, so that might be something that we can consider doing. Anyway, the annoyance is that we need 55 political capital, and the way that things are going, I don't see that there is going to be any chance that we save up 55 political capital over the next couple of turns. But you know what? I'm looking forward to being surprised. All right, curfews. How much would curfews cost? Yeah, see, this is the other problem, right? Is that everything else here is going to cost us 50 political capital. 50 political capital. Mandatory chip implant. Yeah, this is all super, super expensive. Encryption law. As we talked about, I don't want to mess around with this. It's gonna be a little bit of an annoyance. I don't want to mess around with this. Yeah. All right, whatever. We'll leave that as it is. Okay, so what do we really want to do? Well, that doesn't stop us from introducing some relatively socialist policies, even though they're super, super expensive ones. We could government subsidies for unions. I don't think that would be the craziest thing in the world. It's more just, what do we want to do with the limited amount of free cash that we actually have? Of course, one of the things that we can do is, by the way, I'm pretty sure that this would address sexism. I really don't think that we want to introduce yet another tax. I don't know if this feeds into brain drain. If it does, then that's a real problem. I don't want to start brain drain. I feel like we're already taxing people enough. Anything else that's very socialist? Not really. Nothing too socialisty here. Climate change adaptation fund. This is one of the things that we need to keep in mind. National anthem in schools. National anthem at the start of the news. Civil service wage parity. Public broadcasting. Public broadcasting seems like a good thing to do. School discipline. No, that's not too popular. Hydropower, nuclear power station. Public service broadcasting. Public service broadcasting. Do we not have public service? We've got public broadcasting as opposed to public service broadcasting. Nationalize essential services. Oh boy. I want to do all of this stuff. All of this very, very communist stuff I do want to do. And anything here that we really want to deal with. Biofuel subsidies. Yes. I would like to do biofuel subsidies because that would allow that will make farmers happy with us. And also, I believe it will improve the environment. If it doesn't improve the environment, then whatever. It will put the price of food up just a smidgen, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about that too much. I think the price of food it's fine at the moment. Okay, clean energy subsidies. Clean energy subsidies might be one to consider. As I say, we got to try and save some money for when the global economy starts to go terribly wrong. Food Standards Agency. I want to introduce a really popular policy. Youth Politics Council? Sure, that seems like a really popular thing to do. It's going to cost us a little bit of money, but that's not a problem. Robotic research grants? No, I don't really feel that would go down too well. The smart meter program? Sure, let's introduce a smart meter program as well. Energy efficiency, environmentalists. Let's just introduce like a bunch of little policies. Health food subsidies. Plastic bag tax. I don't feel like a plastic bag tax is really that worth it, unfortunately. National Armed Forces Week. That sounds like a very, very, very good thing to do. Let's do that. Patriot and Patriot membership is all up. Great. Tourism ad campaign. Sure. Let's also introduce a tourism ad campaign. Tourism and foreign relations all up. So that should mean that foreign subversion will continue to go down, because as our foreign relations go up, and they will continue to go up because now we've added the tourism ad campaign. Hopefully, foreign subversion will end, which is great. Corruption coming down. That's good. Right. Well, it doesn't seem like things are really going that great. Proposed Freedom Act. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. Okay, so that's our surplus. It's been adjusted to 1.42 billion. I'm not naive enough to think that the global economy is going to continue to go well forever, but that's okay. Unemployment has almost reached 0. Hey, that's really good. The Freedom League tried and failed to assassinate me, but that's fine. And our credit rating has been upgraded. Oh my goodness, this is the best news ever. This is really, really good. A water shortage has developed. That is a problem. That is a problem. That is a real problem. But it's okay, we can address that. And I'll talk a little bit about it in a minute. Wow, our budget surplus is now hitting 13.07 billion. Holy cow, that is fantastic. So that is the lowest of the low interest rates that we can possibly get. And look at the growth of our GDP there. That is huge. That is absolutely huge. However, we can also see that the global economy is starting to plateau, which I think is a good sign for us to perhaps stop spending money at such a laissez-faire rate, shall we say. I do want to try and find a water trading program. Let's have a look. Water supply is going to be way up. Yeah. All right. I think that will be totally fine. I didn't even read the policy there, but I'm just pretty certain that it was quite nice. Water trading program, water purification. Oh, we could just have increased our water purification, but apparently I decided not to read that and therefore didn't address it. Okay, well whatever, it doesn't particularly matter. We've now got a water trading program, which is great, which is nice. It cost us 3 billion a quarter, but that's fine. It's fine by my books. Clean energy subsidies. I do want to introduce one more policy before we start saving. Law and Order, Race Discrimination Act. Yeah, nothing here takes my fancy. Free parenting class. Yeah, free parenting class is actually kind of important because I want parents to like me. Yeah, because they're not a big fan of they're not a big fan of this whole thing, are they? And by this whole thing, I mean prostitution. No, they're not a fan of that. They're also not a fan of the asthma epidemic, which is continuing to rise. There's a whole bunch of policies that we introduced which make environmentalists happy, but don't actually deal with the environment, which is slightly problematic. It's oftentimes difficult to tell what policies will actually affect the environment and others which will just make environmentalists happy. A liberal plot, that's fine. Media backlash, I can live with that. That's totally fine. Foreign subversion has now ended. The global economy is doing well, and this is having a positive effect on our GDP. You know what? Things are going to get a little bit spotty over the next couple of turns, but that's okay. We can deal with this as long as our income stays above our expenditure and we can maintain our absolutely fantastic credit rating. We will have that insurance policy. We'll be able to continue to grow our GDP. I'm fairly certain that we can continue to grow our GDP if we go about doing it in a clever way. 24.21 billion surplus. I'm loath to try and spend, or I'm going to try and spend as little money as I possibly can, in the hope that it's. Wait a minute. What? Hold on a pea-pickin' minute here. What the heck? Alright, so this is it's not a bug, but it's like a major inconvenience for me. The water shortage is it does not take into account water supply. Water supply is through the roof right now. But it does not have any effect on the water shortage modifier. Okay, well that is unbelievably broken, and that means that the 3 billion a turn that I'm paying for my water trading program is completely irrelevant, and I should not be paying for it. I should probably just lower it, since that's only going to cost me 8 political capital, which is I'd rather pay 30 million a quarter. I can't even believe it. Nowhere at all does it say water shortage is affected by water supply. Completely nonsense. Okay, well it turns out that the only way that we can actually address this is by making the environment better. The only way that we can improve the water shortage is by making the environment better, which is a significant problem. Waste collection. Let's raise that to the very maximum. I'm going to try and tackle the underlying problems with the environment. So waste is one of them. So waste we can try and reduce. Let's try and reduce waste. And then recycling as well. The recycling, let's pump up recycling next turn. Hopefully we don't die, of course. I'm being rather chill about the whole thing. Health is starting to come down. That's not good. Appoint a UN ambassador. Liberals and socialists of our societies. That's exactly who we're after. We currently have a budget surplus of about 25 grand. That's pretty darn good. That's pretty darn good. Okay, global economy is teetering. It's teetering on the edge of a recession. I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. I know it's going to happen. But that's okay because our debt is a lot lower than what it was when we started. So it's going to continue to fall. Roughly 2%. The GDP to debt ratio is going to fall over the next couple of turns anyway. The ratio is going to fall, so it's all good. We're going to be making more money over the next couple of turns if we can continue to pay back debt. At the moment, our expenditure, let's have a little look. It's probably going to be like over here, I guess, right? Debt repayment. Corruption. I don't even think it's on here. Oh, debt interest. Look. Debt interest is currently costing us 1.73 billion. It's just nothing. It's absolutely nothing. If we have a little look, it's what, like here? Yeah, it's less than the telecommuting initiative. Turns out that debt interest, we're paying less in debt interest than we are to pay for the telecommuting initiative. Which is kind of bonkers, actually, when you think about it, but hey-ho. Anyway, let's bump up recycling so that we can actually start... where's recycling? Waste is that. Recycling is this. Yeah, let's bump up recycling, which is actually going to have a positive effect on the environment, which is quite nice. It's what we want. And then let's try and introduce some more stuff that will... Water conservation program. Maybe this will make a difference. Lowers the overall water demand. I don't think... But this doesn't take into account water demand. The water shortage does not take into account water demand, which is what is so infuriating. So there's a chance that we might be able to actually have 2 water shortages at the same time. That might very well happen. Language course. No, we're looking for stuff that will help the economy. Bus lanes are things that we could do. Car emissions limits, that's also something that we could do. Bus subsidies, free bus passes, driving age, new car subsidies. Maybe new car subsidies are exactly what we're after. Nationalize the transport network. Hey, we can actually do this. We can actually do this. Are we actually going to be able to do it next turn? We're not going to be able to do it next turn, but we'll be able to do it the turn after. All right, let's introduce a policy. Let's introduce a lackluster policy right now that will take us down. That will take us down under the cap. Sorry, we're not going to be able to do it next turn. We're going to be able to do it the turn after that. So... Our transport services have been left in total disrepair under the stewardship of free markets. Exactly. So next turn we're going to gain 21 political capital, which will take us up to 40, but we need to... Well, actually, I suppose we can probably just go to the next turn, and then the turn after that we can... Or the next turn we can start dealing with the problems of having too much political capital on our hands. We still might get assassinated, by the way. I know this has sort of been dealt with. It's something we got to consider. What is this? Local government? Okay. This is great. I don't know what this is going to do. It's going to make high earnings unhappy with us, but apparently it's making the environment a little bit better, which is quite nice. So there you go. Bus usage is going to go up, which is kind of nice. It means the car usage is probably going to be going down. 27.39 billion ruble budget surplus. That is what I like to talk about. That is darn good, if I do say so myself. I do want to get rid of you, but at this rate, honestly, no. We need to try and improve. We need to try and make parents happy with us. Do I want to just like absolutely massively increase the amount that we pay in child benefits? Truthfully, it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world. It helps liberals, it helps parents, helps those on poor earnings, helps parents' income, which will also make parents happy. Costs 9 political capital to do, so, you know, by that logic, it would be a good thing to do. However, what I do want to do is continue to improve the environment. I'm on a real roll with the environment right now, and I want to stick with that theme. Skilled immigration incentives? No. Independent head of state? Absolutely not. Homeless assistance program? None of this is particularly environmentally minded. Green electronics initiative? Why does it even matter, honestly? Nationalized banking, nationalized manufacturing. I'm so excited about both of these, but unfortunately, it's just out of my grasp. Okay. Let's go transport. Let's have a little look at what we want. Tram expansion. Best case scenario, grant trams the right of way. I mean, this would take us down to 18 political capital. We need to be left with 21 political capital in order to nationalize the transport network. So the maximum that we can afford to spend is 19 political capital. Yeah, 19 political capital is the maximum amount of political capital that we can possibly spend. 19. Anything for 19. New car subsidies. I'm half tempted to do that. It's quite expensive though. Driving age, subsidized school buses, rail subsidies, free bus passes. You know what? Let's go with new car subsidies. Oh, but new car subsidies are going to increase car usage, and I'm not keen on doing that. Bus subsidies are slightly more expensive, but will at the same time. Same with free bus passes. You know what? Let's do free bus passes. Let's do free bus passes. That's something that we want to do. Okay, so bus usage is going to be up, which is great. We still have 6 political capital to spend. What do we want to spend 6 political capital on? Let's do a nice easy policy. 6 political capital, anything? Maybe we don't even have that many. Race Discrimination Act is 2. Okay, there's a lot of expensive stuff here. Expensive stuff in terms of political capital that we need to expend in order to healthy eating campaign. Social Justice Foundation. Let's get a Social Justice Foundation and then also actually cancel that. Don't want to do that. That's just going to increase liberalism. Takes us down to 19 political capital. What? It said it was free. Oh, you're kidding me. So now we're going to get 21 political capital next turn, and it's going to take us right back up to 40. You've got to be joking. Ban fracking. Oh, man. That's really, really annoying. Hey, budget balancer. Use a combination of prudence and economic ability. You've managed to keep your country's finances in the black for a whole 5 years. Well, you know what? I will take that. Another failed assassination attempt. That's not exactly ideal, but it is what it is. Health is continuing to rise. GDP is slowly falling, but that's at a better rate than we could reasonably expect. Your government is popular amongst the electorate. We estimate a poll rating of 69. Sure, I'll take that. That's pretty darn good. That is pretty darn good. There's a lot of stuff that we need to do. There's a lot of stuff that we need to improve. But for now, ladies and gents, we're going to call it there. My name, of course, has been Orbital Potato. This has been Democracy 3, playing, of course, as the USSR. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.